Right, gather round, you masochistic film buffs, because your favourite grumpy bastard from Glasgow has just endured Joon-ho, latest cinematic experiment in expensive mediocrity, and Christ almighty, do I have some thoughts. Here we have Mickey 17, a film about cloning that feels like someone took the sixth day, ran it through a photocopier that was running low on toner, then decided to spend 3 times the budget to make it worse.
I want you to ask yourself something. Do you remember anything after being scanned by my bodyguard?
The sheer fucking irony of making a clone movie that's essentially a clone of another clone movie isn't lost on me, although apparently it was lost on everyone involved in this train wreck. Let's talk numbers, shall we? The Sixth Day back in 2000 had an $82 million budget and somehow managed to scrape together $96 million worldwide. Not exactly setting the box office on fire or even making money, but at least Arnie's ridiculous Austrian accent didn't totally bankrupt the studio. Meanwhile, Mickey 17 swaggers in with what was a significantly higher budget, given all the fancy sci-fi nonsense, and 3 times the marketing, then proceeds to underperform like a police constable at a Mensa meeting. The first thing that assaulted my retinas was that god-awful over-sharpened colour-graded to death look that screams, "We spent more money on making this look cinematic than we did on hiring a decent script editor." Everything's got that artificial Netflix sheen. You know, the one where every surface looks like it's been dipped in industrial strength Instagram filter. It's like watching a film through a kaleidoscope made of cheap plastic and broken dreams. Let's address the Hulk in the room. Wearing a terrible wig and even worse fake teeth, Mark Ruffalo's performance as Kenneth Marshall is so spectacularly mind-numbingly awful that makes his turn on the Hulk look like bloody Hamlet. The man is clearly channeling his inner Donald Trump, complete with the political buffoonery, but he's doing it with all the subtlety of a 3 AM fire alarm. Ruffalo should stick to films where he can paint his face green and smash things, because watching him attempt to portray a complex villain is like watching a toddler try to perform brain surgery with a crayon. Neither ends well. The fake teeth alone deserve their own Razzie nomination. Side rant. Did anyone else prefer the Hulk when it didn't talk much? The romantic subplot between Robert Pattinson's various Mickey iterations and Naomi Aki's Nasha has all the believable chemistry of a high school drama class performance. I've witnessed more convincing emotional connections between rotting deer and a David Attenborough documentary, even when the film tries to spice things up with the prospect of a threesome involving 2 clones. It manages to make it about as sexy as a tax audit. Pattison himself isn't terrible. The lad's clearly trying his best with the material he's been given, but even his multiple personalities can't inject life into dialogue that feels like it was written by an AI having a nervous breakdown. Where the Sixth Day at least had the decency to maintain some semblance of narrative coherence, Mickey 17 decides that plot is for peasants. We get endless scenes of Mickey dying and being reprinted. Some nonsense about indigenous creatures called creepers. They look like reject designs from a Jim Henson fever dream about tardigrades, and a political subplot that goes absolutely nowhere. The film desperately wants to say something profound about worker exploitation, colonisation, and the nature of identity, but it's about as successful at delivering meaningful social commentary as I am at suffering fools. Bong Joon-ho has made brilliant films before. Parasite was a masterpiece, but here, he's apparently forgotten that having something to say requires actually fucking saying it. The ending tries so hard to wrap everything up in a neat little bow, with Mickey 18 sacrificing himself and the humans making peace with the creepers. It's a kind of schmaltzy feel-good conclusion that's about as convincing as a Nigerian prince's email about needing help moving his fortune. The moral of the story seems to be, we should all just get along. Which is a lovely fucking sentiment, but would work better in a children's picture book than a supposedly sophisticated sci-fi thriller. Look, I didn't completely hate Mickey 17. It's more like cinematic blancmange. It's inoffensive, mildly disappointing, and ultimately forgettable. At least it's weird enough to keep you awake, unlike some of the absolute dross that passes for entertainment these days. But when a film with a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes feels this hollow and pointless, you have to wonder if critics have been drinking the same Kool-Aid as the studio execs. The real tragedy is that somewhere buried in this mess is probably a decent movie trying to get out. Instead, we get another example of how Hollywood can take an interesting premise, throw money at it until it stops moving, and somehow convince people it's better than the flawed, but at least coherent original. It's clearly aping. Save your money, watch The 60 instead, and at least you'll get to see Arnold Schwarzenegger deliver one-liners with the confidence of a man who knows exactly how ridiculous he looks. Sometimes honest stupidity is preferable to pretentious mediocrity. 2.5 out of 5. Like a clone of a clone. It's recognisable but missing something essential. I'm great.
A grumpy Scot with a pint in hand, ripping through films like a one-man band. Snarky cinema where the burns are hot, honest reviews you'll never forgot. Oh hey oh, aye, let the truth be told. No sugar here, it's biting and bold. With smirk and a scowl and a hearty laugh, the grumpy Scot is here to riff your craft. Remakes to sequels gone wrong, he'll tear them apart all video long. But if it's a gem, he'll tip his hat. Rare moments when praise comes from this cat. From cringe remakes to sequels gone wrong, he'll tear them apart all video long. But if it's a gem, he'll tip his hat. Rare moments when praise comes from this cat. Snark so sharp it'll cut through steel. Honesty that you can taste and feel. No fluff, no fuss, it's the Scottish creed. For brutal truth, the world does plead. Oh hey oh, aye, let the truth be told. No sugar here, it's biting and bold. With a smirk and a scowl and a hearty laugh, the grumpy Scot is here to riff your craft. So grab your popcorn and duck for cover. It's cinema chats with a twist to discover. Snarky Scot with reviews that sting, a brutally honest movie rating king.